What's up, everybody? Victor Pena here with OmniPrint International with another Creators One-on-One show. And today, I have an amazing friend of mine, a brother, and he's here to inspire you how to become a better leader, how to become a better entrepreneur. We're going to discuss being a leader, making money, growth, and so much more. And remember, stay till the end because the number one most impactful thing that you're going to learn is actually at the end of this podcast. And remember, make sure you follow Steve. We're going to tag him here. Follow us, and let's go and let's grow. See you guys. What's up, everybody? Victor Pena here for another session of Creators One-on-One show. And today I'm super excited to have a good friend of mine, Mr. Steve Lagomarsino with TRC Electronics. Steve, super happy to have you here, man.
What's up, Victor? You're an amazing dude. I love being here, doing anything with you. I'm super excited to join your show, buddy.
First off, I really love it if you can kind of give the audience an idea of like who's Steve, what do you do, all of that good stuff, so that people can have some good context as to, why you deserve to be here and why you're such a badass.
Okay. All right. All right, Steve Lagomarsino. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm president of TRC Electronics. I came into a family business over 20 years ago. We were doing a couple $1 million in revenue, really made my mark on the business, grew through the business, ended up acquiring and exiting both my grandfather and my dad from the business, gave both of them a really amazing financial retirement by working through that with them, was really successful with that. Then took the business and grown it to over $50 million since that point. And so along that journey, some of the accomplishments that I'm really proud of is really building an amazing, remarkable team, amazing, remarkable leadership team. I learned a lot. I invested in myself a lot. And now, in addition to running this company, I've got the Steve Lags Unfiltered podcast where I focus on leadership and successful entrepreneurship. I also am a 10X business advisor, so where I help other business owners overcome the obstacles that I've been able to overcome in their business. And I'm also a master mentor and coach for Brandon Dawson's Business Mastery Leadership Program, which is an elite leadership program that, Victor, you're a part of. And that's been an amazing experience for me. So here I am today. You're actually one of my clients, one of my friends. Yeah, future partners. Well, actually, we are partners in real estate investments. So we'll be doing a lot of great things together. So that's been my journey. I think that's why I'm on the show. But I think maybe the reason I'm on the show is because we're really aligned and we really, we have similar mindsets. We really go for it. We want to be top dogs. We really want to make big impact for people in this world. And we immediately connected when we met each other a couple of years ago.
Yeah, definitely, man. I love that. And for everyone here, the reason why the journey is so important is because a lot of times you see what's the top thing, where somebody is at now. But remember, there's always a start and there's always a middle, and you have to push through different things, right? So we did kind of a poll of some questions that people want to know. And basically, like, when it comes to like some of these challenges, for example, you mentioned family, right? And a lot of our creators out there, they start with family, they start with that kind of setup, and then there's inevitably you have differences of vision, you have differences of opinion, you have differences of things that need to happen, right? So let me know about that transition, right? How did you decide, all right, well, if I'm gonna really blow this up, I need to be doing this alone? And then how can somebody have some takeaways of how they can do it in their family? Because you still had a great relationship with them now. So how did you do that?
Right. So I still have an amazing relationship with my father. And actually right now, my brother and my sister work in the business. So we still have family members. So what the key for success with family members in business is, number one, is having complete transparent communications, and everything is in writing. There has to be no misunderstandings. And some of the mistakes my dad made with me was a lot of promises, but it wasn't really documented. And what he remembered and I remembered were two different things. And that created a lot of friction and tension. But more importantly, whoever the family member is that's going to be the visionary and leading the business, we have to know who that is. That has to be identified. and everybody in the family needs to believe in that person. And the only way they're going to believe in that person is with that person's establishing credibility consistently every single day, is out there pursuing a bigger and better picture, and is constantly the visionary and constantly developing themselves, because they'll never lose belief in that person, that leader in the family member is going to be able to lead the group, the business, the family to where that destiny really ultimately needs to be. And what happened with my dad, became very comfortable, and he was at a point where he was thinking about like just fortifying and securing everything he built, and he wouldn't want to risk anything for retirement. He became the lid for me, where I learned everything from him, but he really wasn't learning and growing anymore. And I knew it was going to hold me and the business back. And I said, hey, Dad, listen, I know it's a tough conversation, but one or two things has to happen. Either I need to buy the business from you for what it's really worth right now, and we can go out there and we get it appraised and do this right, or I'm going to need to leave and move on and open up my own business. And so that was not easy. That was very tough. I mean, the last day that my dad worked in my business, I had to physically throw him out the front door. It was really bad, but I knew I was doing the right thing. And now my relationship with him is better than it's ever been. And he had the perfect exit from his business, even though the results were perfect, even though it was a tough situation for our family. And now I have a brother and sister that are in the business. And I learned a lot of mistakes that my father made. And I also learned what he did right. And I took that and I learned from it. And now we have a lot of success as family members. We have no miscommunication because everything's very transparent. It's written and documented. And I'm always pursuing the bigger vision, and they never lose belief in me.
Wow, that's amazing. So I really love what you said there, because leadership's important, and you push through difficult things with a family member and family members. So what are you thinking in terms of, like, you said something super key. He did a lot of things right that I learned. What are some examples of what was done right that you were able to duplicate?
Well, okay, one thing I learned from my father is how to always run a profitable business. My father started this business in 1982. For 42 years, this business, TRC Electronics, turned a profit every single year. And what he showed me what to do was how to run a profitable business. He also showed me how to coach somebody and develop them and how to teach them. Because every day, in the beginning, we stood side by side. I shadowed him a lot. He taught me, hey, when you're not busy, come in my office, just sit in my office and just listen, take notes. So I learned the importance of shadowing somebody and learning from them. Those were a couple of things that were really valuable for me. And he taught me work ethic. Like my father, I think you inherit work ethic. And he had an incredible work ethic, worked hard, was so determined. And I really, I'm so gifted. I'm so blessed to have inherited that from him, and for him to transfer that to me.
That's excellent. I'm glad you bring that up. And it was one of the later questions that I have for you. But since we're on the topic, a lot of creators and a lot of, especially people in the arts and the crafts and the business of creating, profitability is at the bottom of their priorities. So what are like three main things that you learned early on from your dad about profitability that you can teach and you could share with others so they could have their eyes on that?
All right, great question. So number one is you need to learn how to read a balance sheet and a P&L statement. So very early in my career, like 2000, right away, I was getting into the accounting. Even though I was in sales and marketing, I learned how to read a P&L, because every single day my dad was looking at that P&L. It's pretty simple. You can figure that out pretty easily. There's online courses or online videos how to read a P&L. You need to be able to get that. You don't want a third-party accountant telling you once every quarter whether you made money or not. You need to be looking at every day. So I would say that's number one. And also with a balance sheet, because your assets and liabilities are going to be in your balance sheet, and you want to know what your assets and liabilities, because that's really part of a lot of the part of the value in your business. I would also, number two, while you need to watch expenses, what's more important is driving revenue. Because when you have a scarcity mindset and you're just trying to save a penny versus make a million, where do you think the bigger gain is on the bottom line? So you've got to really understand the fact that while I do need to be disciplined with expenses, is there's only a finite amount that I'm going to put to the bottom line by concentrating on expenses. So I got to drive that top line revenue, profitable revenue, and I'm going to improve that bottom line. And as I improve my top line and drive my revenue, a lot of my fixed expenses don't change. They're fixed costs. My rent doesn't change if I have $1 million in sales this month, or if I have $100,000 in sales this month. I still pay the same rent. And then also always make sure you're not spending money, you're investing money, and you're measuring the return on your investment. So am I spending money in my business right now, or am I investing? And if I'm investing, what's my return on investment? How do I measure that? So I would say those are three important key components that you need to understand in order to run a profitable business.
You have a business, and I consider it like a legacy business, right? Where there's many years, and in our industry, there's actually quite a bit of those. Like, we have a lot of print shops, and we have a lot of those business owners that they might have inherited from their folks, doing it since 70s, 80s, and they're used to one thing. So what do you do to keep innovating, to figure out, okay, well, what's the next thing for next year? What's the next thing for 3 years? What's the next thing for 5 years? And that might be able to help unlock some of the creators out there that have been doing the same thing over and over again, and seeing margins shrink and the market change, but they're not changing. So what are some things that you do to kind of stay on top of that and try to change your business and grow to the next thing?
Right. So number one is I acknowledge and accept the fact that I need to evolve my business over time. I cannot just keep my business stagnant. I understand the fact, and I don't bitch and moan about it and resist the fact that I'm going to need to evolve my business, and we're going to need to change. Because if I keep everything the same, if I kept my business the same as when my dad had it, 30 years ago, 25 years ago, when I entered the business, we would not be surviving right now. We would not be in existence. And then, now you're getting information. I'm intellectually curious. So being intellectually curious and exploring credible sources for information, who's doing what I want to do, that's successful at it, or has better ideas, have more success than I do, what can I learn from them? So every business owner, you're the top of the lid in your business. You're not accountable for anybody in the business. If you're the business owner, you don't have to report to anybody, but you need to go seek that outside your business, and you need to get outside resources, outside coaching, outside accountability, outside mentorship. When you do this and you're intentional about who you're selecting and where you're going, where you're getting the right information, that's going to bring the new ideas into your business. And also, very simply as well, is networking with other successful entrepreneurs that are go-getters. These are the guys and girls that are out there and are evolving their business and having a success. Learn from them, because you don't have to recreate the blueprint. It's out there for you. You just have to go find it.
Excellent. So everybody out there, if you're looking to innovate and find what's the next thing, here are some tips to be able to do that. I want to talk a little bit more of alignment, because you are like one of the top people that I look at. You're one of the top people that I look up to when it comes to how to lead, how to be a better leader, and continue to be a leader, and then learning and all of that. So a lot of the times our entrepreneurs, they're good when they're by themselves. They're good when they might have one person. Once it goes past a couple people, it's very hard to figure out how to lead. So maybe what are a couple things that you can share on how you've been able to become a better leader, and also lead and inspire your team to keep growing, and then follow you on that mission that you set out for the organization?
Yeah, that's a great question, Victor. So I was an awful leader for a long time. I made a lot of mistakes. It was trial and error figuring it out. There was frustrations and emotions, and I would fail at it, and I really didn't understand it. I would say that, well, how I overcame it was finding a mentor, somebody to mentor me with leadership. So again, if I'm the business owner and I need to learn something I don't understand, I have to go outside the business to get it, because then it's my job to transfer that to my people. So if you're doing something you've never done before, which is lead more people, you're going to have to be a different person. There's things that are going to need to change and grow and develop about you. Otherwise, you're not going to be capable of doing it. You're just going to require a lot of luck, and that's very unlikely. So where are you getting the training for it? Like you need to go find it, and you're going to need to go find it outside the organization. And training isn't just simply reading a book. It's about getting in programs and you're practicing it. You're asking some of questions on the material you're learning. But when it really starts, it's a mindset shift. I would say like the hack is first is shifting your mindset to being somebody that's going to be a leader that's going to serve others. You're not, it's not an entitlement. It's not to self-serve you. You've got to have that mindset where I deeply care about other people and I want to make their dreams and goals become possible. And I'm here to serve them, and I'm not going to do things for them. I'm going to serve them where I'm going to give them the tools and resources, and I'm going to be the coach and the trainer they need, not the friend that they need to be able to develop and perform the job responsibilities and succeed in those roles. And it all starts with a mindset.
I love that. And so if you don't think yourself as a leader, it's going to be really hard for you to actually lead and make the tough calls and the tough decisions. So what are like a couple really tough changes? What are those transformations that you have to make as a leader to be able to make that shift?
Yeah, so I should add is first you got to learn how to lead yourself, right? If you can't lead yourself and be a great example, then you can't lead anyone else, right? So if you have a hard time showing up to work on time, getting things done and being disciplined and lack commitment, then you are not going to be able to lead other people because you're not leading yourself. But back to your question, what was your question, Victor, again?
Think about like the hard truths of leadership, right? What are the hard truths that you had to figure out and then action on in leadership to actually be able to pass through and really make it happen?
Yeah, one of the things was how I communicated to people. So we have our natural default mechanism of how we communicate, and typically we would just naturally communicate to everybody in the same manner. But understanding that the way different types of people want to receive communication is going to vary. And while I'm the one that doesn't need a lot of inspiration, I'm very goal driven. They're already very inspired. Most people need a vision. They need to be inspired. They need to know, you need to lead with the reason why. You got to give them a lot of information and tie into what we're doing and why we're doing it to how they're going to win inside that picture. And learning how to communicate effectively that way is really one of the keys to being able to properly lead people and get people to move to a greater, bigger version of themselves.
That's great. And what do you do when the vision, the future, all of that stuff means little to somebody that's good in the business that you have? And it's more of like, all right, what's I just come here for a paycheck and I want to leave, and that's about it. And I want to get the most amount of money out of here.
Yeah. So that's probably like 30-40% of the population in the US. But I'm so determined to make an impact and help people see a bigger, better way. So what you're describing is where that's somebody that's not aligning to work with the life that they want. And what our job and duty is as a leader is to earn the trust and respect for them to be able to for us to help them understand how that work really aligns with what they want to accomplish in life and their goals. So when you learn about what they want to accomplish, what their goals are, and then you can align the work with their goals, you have a much better chance of inspiring them to go bigger and better and to do more and actually to push harder. But the truth of the matter is, Victor, we're both business owners. We know a lot of people just drift through life. They're not even sure why they do what they do, why they did what they did on the weekend, why they go to work. They just want a paycheck to get the paycheck. If you gave them the option, many people would just work 1 hour a day if that was that's all required, because they're not inspired in life and they're not pursuing a purpose, like what they don't understand what their purpose is. And we're never going to be able to show everybody that, but you can make a change in many people, and you can really inspire them, show them, be the example, show them and align it. And for the people who you just aren't successful with that, those are the people that are going to come and go into business. They're the ones that really aren't making an impact, aren't the biggest team players. They're really truly selfish because they're It's their duty to succeed in life. And if they're not doing it for themselves, they should be doing it for their family, friends, coworkers, and our clients. And it's just a fact of life that not everyone's going to get it. And I think that a lot of business owners get frustrated with that because they want everybody to be like them. And it gets to be, and that's a normal thing. Everyone goes through it. But as soon as you acknowledge and accept that's you're never going to be able to change everybody and impact everybody. But as long as you are finding, learning, and developing and getting better at that, and you are impacting more and more people over time, you're going to get there. And but it requires a tremendous amount of development as a leader to get effective at that, and also to remove the emotion out of it, because it is an emotional roller coaster when you're trying to help people.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm glad you bring that up. So, early on, pretty much, if, I've been in business about 18 years or so. I did stuff before that. And I remember my past self, just beast mode emotion was top of everything, right? So how do you transition from getting pissed off at everything's a problem, to reframing it for people and becoming a better leader out of that? I don't know if you went through that before, but yeah, how do you transition from that?
Yeah, and I still get pissed off, and privately, I'll get pissed off when my results aren't what I want them to be, and I should be, like, because I'm never satisfied, and if I'm not getting the results for my team, I'll get pissed off. But the bottom line is the answer is in the mirror. So why should I be express that to other people that work in my organization? Because anything that's happening in my company is a reflection of me, and you have to accept that. I'm not a victim. I created everything around me. I've made the choices to bring everybody that's in my organization. I had total control over that. And if something's not going right, it's a reflection of me. And for me to go take it out on someone else is being a little bitch. So I know if I want to be a bitch, I'll be a bitch to myself in that mirror, and I'll give myself a moment, and I got to get over it, but I'm not going to take it out on other people. But again, that takes a lot of development, takes a lot of discipline, emotional responsibility. A lot of business owners are emotionally irresponsible. They just let it fly in everyone else because it feels good in the moment. And then they realize they fucked up. And now all of a sudden I said something I shouldn't have. And now I got to go back and I got to go do damage control.
I love that. And here's how to not be a little bitch. Oh man, that's awesome, Steve. I can relate to you a whole bunch on that. I think that when it comes to, leadership, guys, few key takeaways that I want you to take away from this is how to become a better leader starts with yourself and your own education, and then being able to deliver that vision to others is very important. And Steve is a great example of that. For leadership, guys, make sure you guys are following Steve. This guy is crushing it and doing work every single day on leadership and how to be better, how to grow your business. So make sure you tap in, okay? So, all right, I want to switch some gears, Steve. So, a question about technology. We're both in the technology space, and it's important to note how fast things change now. And for example, for us, we have to keep stock and plan that years ahead of time, and all these different things that super hard to do when things change. You're in the same business. For people that don't know, we deal with electronics, and we deal with power supplies, and we deal with a whole bunch of different things. So when it comes to how you're navigating all that, so being the hub for a lot of different technology companies, how do you keep on top of that? And what are you doing now in your business to keep that tight and to keep innovating while handling the downside of all of that inventory, all of that stuff that comes with it?
Sure. So, when we're analyzing our tech stack internally in our company, recently we just launched a new ERP, new CRM, new website platform, new shipping integration, a bunch of different software. So that's something that we're looking forward always. So we're not reacting. We're understanding where we're at and where we're going, and we have confidence in where we're going and what are the investments we need to make to get to the next level, because we've got to increase efficiencies and effectiveness in our business. So that's an internal level. And also now AI is coming into everything, and now how AI is improving efficiencies and automation, where we're automating workflows in marketing and sales. So we're constantly leveraging technology to become more effective, faster, better experience for our clients. And whether so we don't manufacture our products, but we work with manufacturers. So now if you're manufacturing, they're looking at, okay, how do we use technology? And, there's labor shortages. So they're looking at how do we make our manufacturing less dependent on labor? And now all of a sudden you bring in more automation, robots. Anytime you can do anything to replace a person, you see a lot of innovation right now because there's a lot of invention there. You can see like where in California, if you raise the minimum wage at such a high level, now the technology is less expensive than what that wage is. So now it pays to put machines in the place of people because we get a better return on it. So for us, what's really cool internally, we're always looking forward and okay, we're seeking the advice and guidance of qualified consultants externally when we need it. And then externally, we work with thousands of manufacturers such as yourself and watch them innovate their products, make them smaller, faster, more cost effective, how they depend less on people so that they can, overcome the labor shortage. So that's our exposure to it. And it's a lot of fun. You have a choice. You can look at it as like, oh my gosh, this is such a pain in my ass. It's inconvenient. I got to be dealing with this, all this change. It's inevitable. So you just accept it, or your choice is to get excited about learning all this new technology and let me do it faster than my competitor and let me get better at it than my competitor. And now all of a sudden it's an opportunity.
So, guys, a super key takeaway, and I know that I hammer on this a lot, especially to all of our creators out there. So, what you always have to lean in to new tools, new technology, new web, new AI, all of that stuff that can help you guys grow. Otherwise, you're going to be doing things the same exact way, and that eventually will help your business die, right? So always lean in and always make sure that you're looking at what's up front in technology and use it.
If you got a printer, what's the next gen printer coming out? It's going to be bigger, better, faster, more efficient. It's going to be a better return on investment. Like, what's the next gen in technology? Like, so we're working with manufacturers are constantly coming out with the next generation, and the next generation is always a big improvement. So you can't be behind the curve. You've always got to be like looking at what's next, what's the next design that's going to be better, and let me upgrade.
Exactly. And so if you're currently a business owner that's inside the business day to day, getting home late, and all of that, and a lot of times working weekends, we have a lot of entrepreneurs like that in our audience. What would you suggest they do to be able to start looking above when all they're doing is doing the work, being inside, and actually being their employee pretty much?
Yeah. So there's a big difference between staying late and working on the weekends because you want to versus because you have no choice because the situation you just mentioned. So I love, we've got great work ethic. We like working. It's purposeful, but it's for when you're working on a business that's enjoyable. But when you're stuck working in a business, okay, what do you need to do? If you're stuck working late because you have no choice and you're now you own a job is basically what happens. You don't own a business. And number one, you have two choices and both of them are the options is investing in proper technology because you've got to become more efficient, but you also need to invest in people. And if you don't have the confidence, you're not going to do either because you lack belief. And then so you'll hesitate. If you listen to the wrong people around you, they're going to tell you why you shouldn't do it. And then you just won't do it. So who you surround yourselves is very important, who you get coached by and who you get influenced by. And you also, in order to effectively hire new people and be able to train them and lead them, you also got to invest in yourself and develop yourself. And if you're stuck owning a job and you work so much in your business, you'll make sense of why you never invest in yourself and you never have the time to basically train and grow and develop and invest in yourself. So you just got to do it. You have to make the time and you got to say, hey, if I got to put this extra time in now, but otherwise I'm going to perpetuate the situation forever. I need to immediately make these changes, make this investment into technology. I got to invest in myself. I know it's going to be painful for the next year or two, whatever it is. But then the big picture, because I have confidence in where I'm going, is going to be such a bigger, better version. And now I'm going to free myself up. I'm going to own a company, not a job.
I love that. If you guys are feeling that you're working 24/7, and you have no way out and you basically got yourself a job, listen to this because this is the way out. I love what you just said, but I would love to really get maybe 2 or 3 tactical things that somebody can do to try to fire themselves from the job that they're doing now, which is burning themselves out. And that, I think that would help people figure out what's the next step for them.
So if I am working in my business and I own a job, not a business, the first thing I want to do is I want to do an assessment on my calendar on my week. So if you're not already doing this, you need to track what you're doing in the calendar every single day. So if let's just say you don't do that presently, my calendar from 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. at night has everything I do during the day. So I can reflect back on a week. If you're doing that already, good. If not, start doing that. And then after a full week, look at your calendar, review it, and then take every activity that you're doing, business related or non-business related during the business day, and rank it 1 to 10 in terms of 1 is least effective, 10 is most effective, where, hey, this is me working on a business. 1 is me, boy, I'm sweeping the floors in the business right now, whatever that lowest impact task is. And then you start picking the low hanging fruit, and you start selecting the things that you need to do to create a job inside your business. And you start building a job if you don't already have it. Maybe you already have other people in there, and maybe it's about delegating some of your responsibilities to existing team members in your organization and empowering them with additional opportunities and not abdicating it and just throwing it off on them. Set them up for success. Tell them how much confidence you have, and you're going to give them an opportunity to add more value to the business. So you've got to be able to look at what you're doing. Is take the time, takes a couple of hours maybe, to look at what you're doing and start don't give yourself an option not to do this and not delegate. Start delegating each week. And then you'll start seeing yourself spending more time on the impactful things. And don't base it on what you enjoy doing, because it has to impact the business. You might love doing something that's not very impactful, but you're going to need to give it up. This idea that you have to love what you do. No, you want to know what you'll love? You'll love winning and making a lot of money and helping a lot of other people become successful and being a great example in this world. That's what you're going to love. You're going to love the results more than what you did. You'll forget what you did when you get amazing results. So be willing to give up some things that you love, enjoy doing, because there's a bigger, better vision out there and destination for you.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for that. And guys, if you need tactical things and takeaways to free up your life and make more impact and make more money, make sure you listen to this.
Victor, I got a question for you. Victor, You're so good at marketing. I wanted to pick your brain while I was on here. Is that okay?
Yeah, 100%. Let's roll.
Yeah. So Victor, give me some of your secrets that you're willing to share with me about how you successfully create funnels and marketing opportunities, because I get stuck in them and I see them. It's really impressive. And, I want to learn a little bit from you what some of the key aspects are to creating a successful marketing campaign and funnel that would really help not only me, but other business owners that are watching this.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm a recovering engineer turned into marketer, right? Because I had to do it. And the number one thing is that nobody really cares that you have the best techie specs, product, whatever it is that you're doing, if they don't know about it, So when it comes to marketing, and I've been really working on the how, so I'm glad you brought this up, because I'm trying to instill that as I grow my marketing team, right? And the number one thing that I look for is I'm actually visualizing what this outcome is, okay? And a lot of people in marketing miss it, all right? A lot of people in marketing, they talk about the thing, which is like the funnel, the actual email blast copy, the copywriting, but visualize first what you want that audience to do. So you're gonna visualize either inspiring a ticket sale to a boot camp, I'm inspiring audience to, follow me, I'm inspiring a purchase to a product, right? That's gotta be super clear for you. And I typically do that pretty dirty at the beginning. I'll write it out, boom, boom, this is what I want, this is what the offer needs to look like. And I use bullet points for that. And then from there, I'll turn it into my team to make a funnel. right? And the page has to illustrate really fast what it is you're after. And that can take some variations first.
I see that a lot of marketing professionals, they just what you've started with is intention of what you're doing, right? Like, what's the intention of this campaign? Like, what's our desired outcome of it? And starting with that, like, so you basically got the goal and you work your way back. I think that your starting point is what I heard you say. Is that accurate?
Yeah, exactly. So you're gonna have that goal. You're gonna visualize. You're gonna see it. You're gonna picture it. For example, in like COVID, especially in our industry, we're the first ones that ever did like a virtual event for a manufacturer. And I started just by visualizing what that would be, and then how many people would show up, what kind of offers we would make, what does that look like, how does it look like me living it, presenting it, who do I have? And then from there, the tech part becomes secondary. Because a lot of people ask, hey, what are you using? What's your funnel software? What is that? And all that's there's so many now, and it's secondary. So if you visualize first what you want out of the audience and what you want to accomplish, how you're going to measure it, then it makes it easier, right? One thing that I'm doing better now is also figuring out who I want to do business with. Like people, fun, money. Who's the people I want to do business with, have a lot of fun, make money? And a lot of times it's like, what kind of customer do you want to sell to, right? I didn't do that at the beginning, and a lot of business owners go through the same thing where, dude, I will sell anything to anyone so that I can make some money, right? And then from there you start figuring out, oh man, maybe that customer shouldn't have bought from us.
Yeah, did we really make money from them?
Yeah, yep. And you don't really make money, right? So yeah, I hope that helps. But yeah, any time we can get into a marketing session that could help, with any of that stuff.
Do you help your clients with marketing?
Yeah. So we're doing more of that. We have a focus of adding more services to our business. So right now we're working on that too.
Yeah, that's great. So, we talk about leadership helping your team win, learning their goals, but also helping our clients win, find additional ways, above and beyond the product and services we traditionally sell to them. And that's a good lesson for anybody. How do you help your clients win? Not just simply sell, be a transactional, business where you just sell them something and they're gone. Like, how do you invest in their success? That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Every Wednesday we have a creators boardroom. It's an hour long. Customers that own our machines come in, and from there we will talk, through marketing. We'll talk through a whole bunch of stuff. Now we just built a new onboarding program for people that buy machines, and they get a growth coach assigned. What the growth coach does is figures out like where they are in their business, because most of our industry is pretty bad at marketing, and it's there's a really important niche there, and there's really no marketing agencies yet. Marketing agencies are pretty huge, like industry wide, for like coaching businesses and other types of businesses, product businesses, but in our industry it doesn't exist. So we're pouring into that. At the end of the day, the more that people can sell of their printed merchandise, then that means that we sell more supplies, we could sell them more machines, like we grow together. So that's why we're doing it. So, and it's something that we're really leaning into as part of a strategy of growth for our businesses, just service-based offerings.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. So all right. So I know I could talk to you for hours, Steve, and I really appreciate you being here. I have one last question for you. And what is an important truth for you as a business owner right now that you could share for our business owner clients, that if they did this one thing, that it would transform their life?
Oh, that's a good question. And I love that you give these questions on the spot too. That's the way I do it on my podcast. So one truth that would change your life, I would tell the one truth as a business owner that would really change things is be self first. So, we're all worried about being selfish. Being selfish, I don't agree with that at all. I wouldn't endorse that. But when you're self first, you need to take care of yourself, both from an education standpoint, and I don't mean going to college, I mean, but you're constantly investing in learning. You're taking care of your mental and emotional health. You're taking care of your physical health. When you do this and you're taking care of yourself and you're getting the right information, you're learning the things you need to learn, and you need to go find that information, you're going to be able to equip yourself to drive that business to much greater heights than you would have been if you're not taking care of yourself physically, mentally, and not learning and growing and developing as a person. So it all starts with you as a leader in your business, about how much you're building and growing and developing yourself and leading you first. And that will solely determine what you're capable of doing with your business and your people.
I love that. Man, that's an amazing answer, Steve. Here's how to make sure that you become the best business owner that you've ever known.
Awesome time here with you. I love it. I had such an amazing time. You're an amazing dude, Victor. Man, I got to meet you. It was summer 2020. I met you the first time. I think it was in Washington. And I knew right away it was like a magnet with you and Tanya. Like, you guys are just amazing people. And I'm so proud of the fact that, like, we could do business together. We're amazing friends. Your brother, man. And thanks for having me here today. And the awesome thing is that this OmniPrint has one hell of a couple people leading this business. They are just truly incredible people. And I just can't tell you how much I appreciate the day that I met you.
Man, likewise. Like the kind of energy that you exude, Steve, and all of the things that you do. And plus, not only that, I'm looking up to you all the time and all of the leadership and all the stuff that you're doing. So I really appreciate you being here and sharing your time with us. And I'm sure that we had a lot of nuggets from you, from your life, that are going to inspire a lot of people. So thank you so much for being here. And man, I love you, brother, and we'll see you soon.
Let's go.